Welcome back to Drum Electric. So in my previous video, I was looking at QLab and how to run videos with backing tracks on a projector on the wall behind me. So if you're watching this video and you're more interested in that, then please go check it out. But that was the first video I did on QLab. So here's a really basic introduction to QLab on how to run backing tracks from it in a really simple method. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through how to set up the audio, then how to import tracks. Then we're going to start looking at how to make tracks automatically follow each other with stuff like looping a click track and that sort of thing. So by the end of this video, you should hopefully have a full backing track project to work with on a gig. Now with this, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm literally doing it so you can take your laptop and get the headphones out and you'll have click on one side and tracks on the other. A future video will come where we're looking at sending stuff to multiple outputs and all of that fancy stuff. But we don't need to worry about any of that. All we want to achieve in this video is being able to run backing tracks from QLab and understand how it works. It's going to be good. So let's hop into QLab and I'll show you how you can get audio running in the places that you want to. So to start this off, I'm going to need to chuck these in because it turns out that I need to, listen to stuff when doing backing tracks. Who'd have thought? Cool. So, welcome to QLab. It's a beautiful piece of software and it's one of my favourites because in stuff like Ableton, for example, it's quite aggressive to the face. You open it and it's like, oh, what is this? Whereas QLab is really simple. There's a big go button, there's a big list, and that's kind of it. So the first thing we want to do is sort out the audio. So I've got my AirPods in because I'm just listening to this, but you might have it going through an audio interface. And I'll show you how to do both. So, on the bottom right down here, there's a little cog, and that's your settings. It'll bring up this menu. What you want to do, it will probably be on general when you load it up, but just on the left here, click on audio, and that'll give you all the options for all of your audio. So as you can see, audio patch 1, Harry's AirPod Pros. That means at number 1 on the list, they're coming through my AirPods, which is really good. Audio patch 2 is built-in output, audio patch 3 is just my USB dock, and then audio patch 4 is the Scarlett Solo USB, which is my little Focusrite audio interface I have on my desk. I have the bigger one behind me by the kit, but this one's just the simple one. So we'll stick to those. There are some more and you can choose whichever one. You can also edit them. So if you've got multiple outputs on that patch, you can move them through there. That's all we need to worry about for now. You can hit done on the bottom right and there you go. You should now have audio coming through your headphones. The other thing that I really like to do on QLab is just next to the cog, there's this list here. And that gives the main cue list. But more importantly, it gives these controls at the top. So these can obviously pause, play, and the big one, which is the panic all stop button. Now, QLab doesn't work like your average DAW will, digital audio workstation, like Logic or Ableton, where you can hit spacebar, it will go, but if you hit spacebar again, it'll actually start playing the next thing down rather than stopping it. So to stop it, you have to click on this big stop button up here called the panic all button, or you can actually assign a stop button on your keyboard or onto a MIDI controller. We won't worry about that for now because we can just click on it, but it's something to bear in mind if you're using this software. Let's bring in some of these tracks. So QLab is really simple. You've got 3 main sections. You've got this main section here where you'll drag all your tracks into. You've got your cue list on the right, which I just said about all the buttons. And then at the bottom, you've got the cue selection so you can edit stuff. At the top, you've got the big go button, which is how you play stuff. And then underneath that, you've got loads of different options for different buttons and stuff. We won't worry about any of that. We're just going to go for the basics. So I've got 3 tracks I'm going to import. All I've done is I've gone into Logic. I've got all of my stems, my multi-tracks. I've panned the click to the left side and then the rest of the tracks to the right. I've taken out the drums because I'm going to be the one playing, but I've kept the rest of the instruments in there. You'll need to adjust this accordingly to what you want to use. Most likely, if you're using this in a band scenario, you'll probably have click to the left and then maybe that really weird synth to the right because that's something that no one can play on stage. And then the rest will be played with musicians on stage. So, all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in my track and there we go. Easy as that. Before I do anything else, I am going to check that it works. To do this, you can click on the track, and then at the bottom here, you'll see loads of different options. It might be on basics for you. What you want to do is go to audio levels, and then here, the audio output patch, that's where you can select all the ones we did at the beginning of the video, selecting all of the options. So I'm going to keep it on Harry's AirPod Pros, because that's what I'm listening for. But when I'm using this with the full stage rig, the one that I'm going to be using, this will probably be on built-in output, because I'm just going to plug into the headphones output of my laptop and send it through just a splitter cable like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit play and make sure it works and make sure I can hear it before I carry on, because it's going to be the classic thing. It doesn't work, we've set it all up, and now we have to figure out why. So, just hit go, make sure all the audio routing is there. Perfect. There you go, hit the panic all button to stop it, and now we can start importing our tracks. So that's our first track. That's the beginning of the show, and now all we have to do is hit spacebar. So what we can do now is if I bring in a second track, that will just plop underneath, and then so track 1 will play and it will stop when it gets to the end, and then this will move down, so when it's ready I can just hit spacebar and then track 2 will play. So that's our basic setup. We can go to a gig with that and we'll have no problems at all. What if we want to be slightly fancier with it? So let's say once I've finished track 1, I want it to go straight into the click for the next track. What I then want it to do is loop that click track twice before then immediately going straight into the next track. This is really easy to do. So what we need to do, obviously we can see that I've dragged in the click loop track and I put it right in the middle there by just clicking and dragging, and then it goes to our second track. So, track 1, I'm going to hit play, I want it to automatically go straight into the next click. So all I have to do is click on track 1, head down to the bottom here and make sure I'm on basics, and then continue. I want it to auto follow. Okay, so what that means is it gets to the end and it automatically goes to the next track. So once it's done that, I want to loop my click. And in order to do that, I now need to click on the click loop to bring up those settings. I need to go down to time and loops, play count, make sure that's selected on the left there, and then I want to loop it twice. Once it's done that, I then want it to continue on straight away to the next track. So I need to go back into basics, I need to go on to continue, and then auto follow. And then, finally, it should go into that track. So I won't play it from the beginning because obviously we don't want to listen to a full 3-minute backing track. I'm going to, as you can see on the right here, I can see that it's going to auto follow. So it's going to automatically go into that click. But I am going to play it from the click to check that that loop has worked. It's a 2-bar click, so we'll get 4 bars, and then the next track should start where there's 2 bars of click at the beginning. Cool. So it will now loop. Should now go into the next track. Perfect. And then we get 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we have it. You can now do this for a whole show. You can carry on all the way through and make sure some clicks are looped, some aren't, some that just loop infinitely, and you can start messing around with this sort of thing. And that's a very basic track, and as you can see, it's a really powerful piece of software because it means that we can now have a lot more control over a show with backing tracks rather than just playing it from our phone where we have to hit play every single time. We can now start to have seamless transitions from song to song straight after, and it's fantastic. So as always, if you have any comments or questions, please lob them in the comment section down below, as I'd love to help out wherever I can. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all of our shiny new videos, and I will see you in the next one.